Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. I hope you are all well on this thirsty Thursday. This is video 2 of potentially 3. Don't know whether we're going live later. Obviously, there's potentially this pre-trial conference. Don't know what's going on with that. If it is indeed going to be streamed in any way, shape or form, I shall indeed stream it. So keep your eyes peeled, subscribe if you're not subscribed, like if you haven't liked, and do all that nice jazz. Karma will come your way and give you something nice, gifts showering down upon thee. In this video, we are talking... Did I say that you look amazing? Because you do. We're talking about Steve Gonsalves. I did a video the other day. Some of you seen it, some of you didn't. I'm going to play you the first clip because I want you to listen very carefully to the clip. Okay, so I'm going to put it up on the screen. We're going to listen to it together because it's very important that you pay close attention to what is being said by Steve Gonsalves. And once we listen to it, we're going to need to talk about it.
I talked to Hunter directly, and it sucks. He had a broken soul. This is a man who's seen his best friend dead, like dying, like gone. So we exchanged a moment, and I talked to him, and he was trying to protect everyone in that house to not go through what was overwhelming him at the moment. So I don't know about the details of upstairs, downstairs, door open, door not, but in the bigger picture, does it really matter? He was literally just responding to what he probably thought was a prank, thinking his friend, his best buddy, had these girls rolling, and he showed up there and he seen the opposite of a prank, and I seen it in his eyes. He was broken. He was very broken from what he had seen.
Well, did Hunter tell you that he was able to open the door to Xana's room and witness Xana and Ethan in there?
Bye. He told me that he went to the door and he was trying to go through that door and he was trying to figure out what was going on in there. It's kind of like what you're hearing with that audio. He announced himself. He said, "Hey, I'm here. What's going on?" But they didn't respond, and he went in there. He seen something, and I think around 2:15, you hear when somebody truly sees.
Hello, how is everyone? You amazing. He literally says in that 2:15. I'm going to just bring my notes up on the screen now. I'm not going to show you the notes because it's tiny. But when I first played that video, a few of you had pointed out and said, he said 2:15. That broadcast, if you watched it, it was cut off just after that bit. They put Brian Enton up on the screen. But I was looking to see what the 2:15 kind of, because initially I kind of, I ignored it because my initial reaction was it was at 2:15 within the call. So he was referring to a timestamp of the call. Now either there's a different call or there's more to that call that throws that out, or he got the time frame in the call completely wrong and this was a miscommunication altogether, or is he referring to 2:15 as in a time? And the reason why I bring this up, because some of you, I know what it's going to be, the trolls especially, because the trolls are dickheads. And it's like, oh, you're just bringing up something that's irrelevant to throw shade or whatever. But the issue that I have is that's not the first time that we have issues with times and the time frame. Ethan Chapin, bearing in mind that Steve Gonsalves himself speaks about Ethan Chapin in this situation, right? Talks about this situation. I'm not even going to get started on the dead, dying, gone. Do you know what I mean? It's that in itself is weird. And again, maybe he's just speaking out of place, but he absolutely states that Hunter sees his best friend dead, dying, gone, and even to say that, I have to consider what made you say dying. When you was talking about Hunter and talking about this situation, what makes you say dying? What makes you say dying? But we've spoken about it, and I've got some opinions on it. You've got opinions on it, and maybe there's nothing to it. But his family, Ethan's family, have even referred to the dark hour that is not in place of it's not anything to do with the main story, the main time frame, as we've come accustomed to, because Dylan Mortensen is saying that this is when everything happened. And again, we talk about Brian Koberger and this, all the activity on the phone and these cars being seen and the DoorDash delivery, when there's a lot of indicators that would indicate that this crime potentially didn't even happen at this time. Potentially didn't happen. Xana Canodal, the times when people arrived home, there's some things that are off with when they are at home and they're eating food. Like Xana's family said that she was already home and eating pizza at around 12. Then apparently they didn't turn up till later. There's also been queries around what time she was on social media. There's been issues with that. And I think to myself, the issue here is, when did this actually take place? When did it truly take place? The crime itself. Like, we could ask when the 911 call took place. When did the 911 call? Was there multiple 911 calls? Was there an earlier 911 call and everything went fucking wrong? So then they done a second 911 call. And I know it's tinfoil hat. But this situation with seemingly all these little nods and suggestions of different times, and you think to yourself, the story, like, I'll read this. This was an excerpt from something my man Ed said, and he put, I watched Banfield's latest episode, and I can tell you that she is rarely questioning the whole issue, including the 911 call, stating it seems to her the call involved an OD episode in the house. And this is Banfield. Ashley Butfield Banfield. And I said to you, when I last saw her, she weren't fucking buying it. But she's got to do what she's got to do. But I could just see in her face, she weren't fucking buying what she was saying. Do you know what I mean? That was someone who weren't convinced and was just on autopilot. I'm going to say it because I got to say it. That you could tell there was something that weren't sitting right. She's not alone. Then SG appeared and said, it's kind of like what you're hearing in the audio 911 call. I think around 2:15, you hear when somebody truly sees something. He was referring to Hunter Johnson saw. He's then immediately cut off the broadcast. I mean, immediately being replaced by Brian Enton. And I thought, wait, what just happened there when SG said 2:15? And is the actual time of the 911 call being concealed by mainstream media, and for what reason? We know mainstream media is being used as a bit of a tool at the moment, because they're putting out what they're putting out. And don't even get me fucking started on this situation. I can't for the life of me understand the phone. What's going on with the phone? Everybody's so convinced that Dateline have got hold of Brian Koberger's phone. What they do, ring up Judge Hippler and that and say, oh, Hippo, can we borrow Brian Koberger's phone? We're doing this show and we want to use it. Once we're done with it, we'll give you it straight back. Ziploc bag. Wow, sweet. Done. Not buying it. No, I'm not buying it that Dateline would somehow give him Brian Koberger's phone that's going to have been in evidence since his arrest, and used it temporarily and given it back, or someone's extracted everything off it and give it to him. That's a leak. Who knows? Just ain't buying it. But there you go. And it says, I thought, wait, what just happened? I timed to the second between dispatch stating she contacted an ambulance and law enforcement arriving. It was within 1 minute and 35 seconds. We know the strange part of this is Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk knew what had happened, but the story in call was because Xana was passed out, not about a man being in the house at 4 a.m. Then, when the dispatcher told DM to go check, Hunter J was already checking on Xana. The 84 known contacts are counted until the alleged call at 11:58 a.m. simply isn't consistent with human nature. SG never reappeared on the broadcast again. Something is wrong here, knowing that Brian Enton began talking at the same time SG was cut off. I do now sense someone is controlling the narrative through mainstream media, and I believe it's prosecution and the state. And how is a guilty verdict expected knowing law enforcement placed Koberger away from the house in the PCA intentionally? Which I did a video yesterday specifically talking about the PCA and it being made irrelevant or deemed irrelevant. But what's going on with the times? Why did Steve Gonsalves say 2:15? Was he referring to a timestamp and just got the timestamp completely wrong? Why would he say that in the same sentence or same interview where he literally states that Hunter witnessed Ethan Chapin dying? And furthermore, we've also, on the peripheral of that, got Ethan Chapin's family themselves raising about a different time. And that ain't the only time either. Kathy Mabbott previously suggesting that these crimes happened much earlier than we are currently being told. There's so many things. And you know when people turn around, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. When lots and lots of coincidences start to mount up, it doesn't take long before the needle starts to move. And there is far too many times when the time of this crime is being suggested to have not been when we're being told. Tell me I'm wrong. Love you all. Mwah.